What's up, fight fans? Your boy P. Welsh here. Sorry for the long break. Wasn't feeling too well, and then had my brother's bachelor party. So we're back at fight night from around the world. Song Yadong versus Davidson Figueiredo. I think our last pick'em week was Chimaev. We were 8-5, and we're starting off this week with Loma Lookboonmee, women's strawweight versus Jacqueline Amorim, 10-4 versus 10-2. Both ladies coming off a loss here, and I think Lookboonmee could be coming off a few losses here. So that being said, I kind of like Amarine here. She's got high levels grappling submissions where Lookboonmee has been taken down. She's the smaller opponent. She has lost to better fighters in there, and I said she could have a couple more losses. Nunez, she didn't look good at all, and the Brazil fight was really close too. So yeah, I think if she's going to get in some of these grappling exchanges, I think Amarine is really live for a submission here. I like Amarine. I'm going to go kind of against the Asians for a little bit here. I just not super high on Lookboonmee. I've been on her for a while and she just hasn't looked that good. So next up, we got the featherweight bout. Kang Ji versus Rodrigo Vieira. I think he was like El Gato Loco, the crazy cat. He's got a high finish rate, 11 finishes, 10 decision wins. Kang Ji, 21-4 unranked. 12 TKOs, 9 decisions, 0 submissions. And yeah, this one should be a banger. I think one of these guys goes to sleep. I think this fight probably finishes inside the distance. I can't imagine these guys really letting it hang out there too much more to not get stunned or get better of one another. I'm kind of liking Vera here. I know it's pretty much a pick 'em. I'm just gonna go there. I just kind of this one feels like it's gonna go back and forth. I think if anybody has a better of the grappling exchanges, it's probably Vera. So I love the nickname, Rodrigo. Let's go. I just think I don't know, man. I just not. Well, just let's got to see it to believe it. This one should be a banger. There's not really much to go into it. You could say what you want, but yeah, I like Vera here. Next up, we got Angela Hill versus Zhang Yang Zhan. Angela Hill 18-6 versus Zhang 19-2. 10 KOs, 8 decisions, 1 submissions, and yeah, her biggest step up in competition. She did fight Angela Lee in one championship, but this is a different Angela Hill here. She's fought her a few times over there. And I don't know, man. Angela Hill's just such a tough out. It's like, do you really think this girl's going to come in there and beat her? Now, if Angela Hill is completely over the hill, then yeah, this is an overkill and it's not even worth looking into. But I'm always going to kind of lean with my girl, Angela Hill. I know she's taken some L's there. I've been on them as well, but I don't know. I think she could just get the better of this girl. This one's really tough to say. It's again these low level fights over here. I'm just gonna kind of hedge over on the Asians to start, and if they actually win, then it'd be great prowess to them. I can't imagine going 2-1 against Angela Lee would make me a considerable favorite against but I kind of like the upset here with Angela Hill. The next fight, I think I feel very much the most confident about here. Sayura versus Luis Gurriel. Dude, the UFC's website is just peachy, bro. It can never just open up or anything. Like, makes this so much fun. Honestly, I need to just go get my own graphics like the other shit that I see. So, that being said, Sayura 10-1 versus Gurriel 11-3. In the last, he's 1-3 in his last 4. He did win against Barres. 3 losses before that. Sayura. Big fan of when I was watching his first fight against Josh Van. I thought he held his own. I remember the Carlos Hernandez. I think I picked Hernandez against him, and he looked really good. So that being said, going 5 rounds against Josh, or going to decision against Josh Van, nothing against that. I think this guy is gonna mop the floor with Louis Gurriel, who I just don't think is somehow still in the UFC. Man, if Gurriel gets it done here, it'll be probably one of the bigger upsets that I think could happen on the card. I just don't have much confidence in him and his athletic ability even. And I just think Sarua should get the better of him. It'll probably be a decision win, not as clean as you think it might be, not like clear cut finish because Guriel is tough. But man, if he gets rocked, he could probably just get jumped on and subbed in very little time flat. So I do like Sarua inside the distance TKO or submission. I think it will be a very, very fun way to watch that fight. Next up, bantamweight bout: Ariki Lang versus Cody Haddon. Ariki Lang 26-11, one no contest coming off a win. Cody Haddon 8-1 coming off a win. Another one of the bigger upsets here, and it's just you watch any of the Ariki Lang fights, it's pretty. I mean, the fact that he beat Cody Gibson is pretty impressive. But I mean, Cody Gibson literally walked right into a right hand 20 seconds into the fight, like negative striking defense. I just think Haddon's a way better fighter than that. He got mauled by Rojas, was getting destroyed, pieced up by um, Daniel Marcos before he got double kick. I think there was like that Daniel Marcos night. There's literally like 4 straight exchanges that where they kicked each other in the nuts. And Ariki Lang had no contest. Yeah, I think Haddon here. Haddon can definitely finish Lang. Uh, Maybe catch him with a guillotine could be something. You know, he's got more rear naked chokes though, but I think his submission game will be pretty solid. I think if you know this guy, Ariki Lang, is going to take some damage, going to shoot in for a takedown at some point. I think he can snatch a guillotine up and actually get a nice finish as well. I also think he can get a club and sub. I think there's a lot of ways he can absolutely finish Ariki Lang. Another one that I like inside the distance. Haddon, Sarua, both guys that I think are super playable inside the distance. Who I think I'm super live for a finish. I mean, I know Ariki Lang is super tough and durable, and that's one of his best traits. But sometimes, you know, when Amon Zahabi is knocking you out in the first round, you know, you got to look at that. You can get caught, club and subbed, and if he sees him on the back, you get him for the rear naked choke. You know, if he comes in there, steps up, you know, has a good game plan. I think Haddon's got this all day. Next up, welterweight bout: Ding Mang versus Jose Enrique. Holy bro, 35-9 Dang versus 8-1 Henrique. Henrique 6 KO wins, 2 decision losses. Got a rescheduled bout from Raki Veneterikov versus Ming Dang. He's got 28 KOs, 2 submissions, 5 decisions, and yeah, has taken a few more decision losses recently. Kickboxer by style, and this one should be a banger, back and forth. If I can't imagine. I would just like to watch this fight like end in violence. I think this fight ends by KO is super much the play. I don't know. You can have a better exchange for one another. It's kind of hard. I can't see these guys really mauling each other over the course of 15 minutes. I really do think at some point one guy is just going to absolutely eat something that's just not. I think it could be Mang. I like Henrique here. If I have to make the official pick, um, I don't know. I just think I'm just gonna go Henrique here. Again, this one I think if you really, I think just root for this fight just for violence. I can't really see these guys coming in here. I like the age advantage for Henrique a little bit. You know, maybe not the skill advantage, but you just be so much more athletic than somebody, you know, even fighting at 31, which could also have a super like big experience advantage for Mang. But yeah, I think a little bit of the length. I think Henrique's gonna pose a little bit more of a problem for him, and you know, 6 inch reach advantage. So I think we'll see that the biggest in the octagon over there. I'm gonna Jose Enrique KO. Let's go. We got Yis Sak Lee versus Luis Felipe Diaz. Looks like Giga Chad over there. Holy schmoly. 16-5 Giga Chad. 31 years old. 7 wins by KO, 8 by submission. Last one rear naked choke, 2 rear naked choke, TKO before that. You know, few losses before that. Yeah, Diaz looks like the real deal. Holyfield here. I don't know how somebody's gonna pick Lee against this guy, against this Giga Chad here. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Looks like he got his grappling. He's got striking. Looks like he can get in there. Another one inside the distance. You don't really want to pick either one of these guys to go either way. 26 years old for Lee, 8-1 professional record from Korea. Von Flute choke on the resume, rear naked chokes, ground and pound, lost by rear naked choke. So you know, he's getting in there, getting it dirty. Another one that you're just screaming for violence this early in the morning. Remember, super duper early start time here from I think, what are we in? Macau. We're back in Macau, the gambling capital of freaking Asia. God, that'd be a cool place to visit just to go gamba, watch some fights in Macau. But yeah, I got Diaz here. I just can't see this Giga Chad going all the way over there and losing to the tank, the Korean tank. I don't think you ever played a tank game and chose the Koreans for their tanks. So let's go, Luis Felipe Diaz. Next up, we're going to the main card. We got flyweight bout Alex Perez, 26-10 versus Sumadarji, 19-7. 2-inch height advantage, 7 inches on the reach advantage for Sumadarji, and yeah, this I gotta just go with Perez here, man. He's just kind of like the Unk resurgence. I'm not super high on Sumadarji. His competition hasn't been exactly the most stellar, and when he plays somebody like this, I think he's susceptible to lose by submission here. I think Perez has a ground game that he's willing to dabble in, maybe get a little redemption since his injury to Tatsuro Taira. Sumadarji, good striker, but I think Perez knows he's gonna have to close the distance, take him down, and yeah, I just don't really like Sumadarji's volume. I don't think he really, and he's got a clear path that he loses by submission. So, I think that's where I'm liking this fight 10 times or 9 times out of 10. If Sumadarji can stuff the takedowns for 3 rounds, outstrike Alex Perez, who might even be a better striker than Sumadarji in terms of even power and impact. Yeah, Alex Perez here on the start off the main card. Next up, welterweight bout Jake Matthews versus Charleston Harris. Jeez, whip. Jake Matthews versus Charleston Heston. We got Matthews as the favorite here. And yeah, I like Matthews all day here. I'm not even thinking too much more about this. We got it. Yeah, minus 330. I don't know why the odds are super bad on the website. Yeah, I can't even click the UFC's website open. Trying my hardest. But yeah, Jake Matthews by finish. I think Harris probably has a little bit more grappling game than Matthews wants to deal with at the end of the day. So I think they stand and bang, and Jake Matthews isn't going to think about catching a. I know he's got a couple submissions on the resume the last couple fights, right? He lost on the Darce choke, would have won on the Darce choke anyway, and then also rear naked choke. So both things considerable. And the Darius Flowers, I actually think he knocks Charleston Harris out. I can't really see too much. 4 KO losses, 0 submissions. So you're looking at Matthews. If he doesn't knock him out, it's probably going to decision. Man, a submission on Harris would be pretty insane. You never know. Matthews is pretty steadily like that. But yeah, Jake Matthews, the official pick here. Next bout is Kai Asukura, bantamweight, moving up from flyweight against Cameron Smotherman. 21-6 Asukura versus 12-6 Smotherman. Smotherman passed out on the scales last time he was about to fight. Asukura, 2 losses. Tim Elliott, Pantoja, both by submission. Moving up in the weight class here to bantamweight. And, yeah, I think he's got a real chance to knock out Smotherman here, man. I think he can land a nasty knee. I think he's in for a monster moment. I like Asukura here. I like Asukura by KO. I don't think he really tries to, grapple too much here with the knee to the body. I mean, knee, dude. He hit maybe a flying knee or something, dude. I'm just saying it. It's going to be one of those things that it could be wild. I think Asukura's primed for a bounce back, and they gave him a absolute nice person to come back to in Cameron Smotherman. I think he's going to stand and bang. I think Asukura, 2nd, 3rd round finish, TKO. Get back in the win column, get a nice little confidence boost, and see what happens next. Heavyweight bout, Sergey Pavlovich, 20-3 versus Taliesin Teixeira, 9-1. Teixeira's loss coming to Derek Lewis win against, what was that? Tai Tuivasa. Yeah. Pavlovich here. You got to think Pavlovich can probably dust this guy in the 1st round. It's been a while since he's got one of those, but I mean, don't forget that he's had, 4, 5 first round TKOs before that. So I think that's where you probably got to go. I think he just goes straight steamrolls this dude. Um, I think this fight ends in the first round no matter what. I think if Pavlovich, I don't know. I can't see him really sitting around there. I feel like my man's been way too patient for as great as a killer, man. This guy was essentially the boogeyman until Tom Aspinall touched him up, and I just can't get over that. The Volkov loss, I think, was really damaging just to maybe his psyche in a way, too, and something that he wasn't necessarily wanting to. A couple decision wins after that, I guess I definitely think he should have finished Rosenstrike, but Waldo's been a beast recently, so there's no harm in being careful with Waldo, who these guys are both beat. So I don't want to see a rematch of that. So we got to figure out what the hell's going on with the heavyweights. The unfortunately the UFC is in like this turtle shell kind of way, where like with injuries and inactivity and guys moving up and down and vacating, there's been such few frequencies, and also in defending it, so it really makes the belts feel like they're not even up for contested because nobody's even defending them because they're kind of vacating and moving up. Just the instances that's happened of that in the last couple of years is more than it's been almost ever, right? Pereira moves up, Islam moves up, Taporia moves up. These are all guys vacating their belts, not defending them. So you kind of like get stuck in this mode where there's a lot of like, where are we fighting for in a way? Everybody wants the belt, but nobody's holding it, nobody's defending it. Everybody's kind of moving around. That's why I think the UFC feels the kind of the way that it does recently. And you got a guy like Sergey Pavlovich who should be knocking on the door for a title belt, but we got the White House card coming up here. We got Pereira moving up. We got the Gon rescheduling. We got all these factors that are moving around, and I think sometimes it really the UFC could do something a little bit more than and figure some more things out because unfortunately for these guys, this is their whole career getting rescheduled for people moving up for one big time fights. And I think it's probably the one fallacy of the UFC that really, gets lost on this guy Sergey Pavlovich has just been not as inactive at 34. We've missed 3 years of prime Pavlovich, because of scheduling in a way. So it's one of the frustrating things. I don't know why I just went on a little tangent there, but yeah, Pavlovich kind of like this, this former boogeyman that just can't seem to get the wheels going here. And if he does, he's still 35, or Oldberg's just 35. Guys get hurt. I get that. Yeah. Another one that has to end in the first round here: Ming Yang versus Alonzo Atomic Menefield. Dang, Ming Yang coming off a bad loss to Johnny Walker, who just absolutely pummeled that leg. And you got Alonzo Menefield, 17-6, UFC veteran, coming off a loss. I can't even remember that Menefield loss. Knockout, was it, to Uzdemir? Yeah. But he did beat Umar C, beat Julius Walker. And, I just think Zhang is the pretty much, if you can't knock out Alonzo Menefield, then you got nothing left for us in the UFC, Zhang Min Yang. So, Menefield, I think, can hang tough. I do worry about him gassing out. I do think if you are feeling super spicy, you could do like Menefield by decision. I think if he survives the first round, the ref doesn't stop it. He's running around and Dang gets tired. You could definitely see Menefield doing a split decision. I don't know, whatever that is. I probably feel like that's one of the only ways that he can win is just decision by Menefield. So other than that, it's probably Ming Yang knockout 1-2. But if it gets past that, I mean, you can really see Alonzo Menefield. And I love Alonzo Menefield. When I freaking first started following the fighting 5 years ago and opening up some cards, we pulled some of his just some of his BS cards, his rookies, and I'm just like laughing. Rookie Alonzo Menefield, and now he's 38. So seeing him fight a lot of wars. Absolute soldier of the UFC, and I think he can surprise some people. Where I wouldn't be. I'm actually just gonna. I'm just gonna say Menefield by decision. That's the official pick. I'm gonna go with it one more time. Alonzo Menefield. I just think he'll end up I could see him getting slumped here. Don't worry. Like, this one's definitely one for the L column, but my guy Alonzo's got to give me one more time. Last up, bantamweight bout, main event, Song Yadong versus Davidson Figueiredo. And I got Song Yadong here. I don't even got to think twice about it. This might be a retirement fight for Figueiredo. Um, he's got he might have got robbed out of a decision against, or even Jackson got the win against Jackson. I just can't see my guy doing much of anything anymore. I just think he's pretty old, pretty beat up, a lot of nasty weight cuts. Guy is just shredding pounds. And Song Yadong, coming off an injury from a couple years ago against Piotr Jan, beat Cejudo, lost to O'Malley. There's nothing wrong against that. A massive step down against Figueiredo. I think Song Yadong finishes him. I think Song Yadong submission KO. 1, 2, or 3. I just don't really have much for Figueiredo. I think he can tap out early and live with it. My man's been finished many times in the UFC, and there's nothing wrong with that. 2 TKOs, a submission. You know, it's happened, and I think it can. It might happen again, dude. I think Song Yadong is pretty badass. I think he could. I think it probably is Song Yadong by decision. 4-5 decision for Song Yadong. Probably a little bit tougher for Figueiredo. I just don't think he's just absolutely crap. Like that's pretty unfair for me to think that he's just gonna go out like that. So, Song Yadong by decision. Do a quick little recap here. Really excited to get back on the videos and everything to you guys again. Please like, comment, subscribe if you made it this far. Leave your comments in the comment section on who you think you're gonna win. If you get all picks 100% right, I'll send you $100. We're going to do a quick little recap here. We got Amarine, we got Vera, we got Angela Hill, we got Sarua, we got Haddon, Henrique, Diaz, Alex Perez, Jake Matthews, Asukora, Pavlovich, Alonzo Menefield, and Song Yadong. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Good luck on the fights. Early fight card starts at 4 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning. So set your alarms. Be up. Be ready. And thank you guys so much for the support. Take care of yourselves, your friends, and your family. Peace and love.